Hans Christian Andersen's little sea maid looks across the waters of Copenhagen at the ships which are bringing recovery to Denmark. Shipping lines are the veins and arteries which keep this little country living. Imported goods are essential for Denmark. Most of these before the war came from Britain or the British Commonwealth. But gasoline and heavy oils for traction, and most important, vegetable oils for cattle cake, come from dollar sources. Dollars which since 1947 have been mostly provided from Marshall Plan funds. The Sterling area can supply all that the Danes need of most goods. Tractors, which are important for farming, cars, which are useful for travel. But you can't feed either on cattle cake in the winter. The Danes are a great nation of cyclists. They go everywhere on wheels. The wheel could be a symbol of their economic life. Everything goes smoothly provided it keeps turning. In 1947, shortage of dollars put the brake on economic progress until the Marshall Plan came to the aid of the Danish people. Denmark welcomes tourists, and not just because they bring in foreign currency. This, the oldest monarchy in Europe, has a great charm, especially for Americans whose traditions have given them a special curiosity about the insignia of royalty. At Elsinore is the Castle of Kronborg, which romantics imagine the scene of the tragedy of Hamlet. The present Kronborg was in fact built after Shakespeare's death. Despite his crack about something being rotten in the state of Denmark, Shakespeare is honored by a plaque and by some of the best performances of Hamlet in the world. The public buildings of Denmark, whatever their period, are well built and handsome. Copenhagen is called the city of spires. Loveliest of the buildings is the 17th century Stock Exchange, with its spires of intertwined dragons. The English church looks, well, very much like an English church. And there's a modern Danish church which looks, well, like a Wurlitzer organ. The cleanness of Denmark is what impresses every visitor. The buildings are as fresh and gay and sunlit as the people. Are happy people who are proud of their special skills, their traditional industries, such as silverware. This is craftsman's work, and the value of each piece depends on individual skill. Unskilled hands can do certain routine jobs. The training of youngsters who will give their lives to craftsmanship secures a world market for Danish silver and for Danish porcelain. Hans Christian Andersen is loved by children all over the world for his haunting fairy stories. Popular themes and articles are mass-produced in Danish porcelain works. The fisherman and his family are familiar figures in this country with its hundreds of natural harbors and its 16,000 fishing boats, big and small. 20,000 people are directly employed in fishing, and many more dependent on it. The Danes have enough fish for themselves and for a large export trade. Plaice, cod, herring, and mackerel are the main catches. At the fish market, a Copenhagen housewife can buy them fresh off the boat. In shipbuilding, Denmark has been one of the leaders in the modern transition from steam to motor ships. The Danes build ships for themselves and for other countries. Cross-channel boats for the British, whalers for the Norwegians. The raw materials come from abroad. The skill comes from the Danes. The Danes specialize in the construction of diesel engines. These diesel engines are manufactured ashore and then mounted on the hull. At the big Atlas works are made heavy tooling machines and refrigeration plants. The old workshops have become overcrowded in the attempt to cope with the demand for increased output. A new factory is being built outside Copenhagen by the Atlas Company to ease the pressure on the old works. Inside, thousands of dollars worth of Marshall-Aid machinery is being installed. Marshall-Aid tools have also gone to Titan Engineering, makers of electric motors and precision machinery. Danish machinery earns foreign currency. So do Danish liqueur. These enormous barrels, in still more enormous cellars, are filled with a cherry liqueur which has made 5 generations of distillers prosperous and a galaxy of monnets merry. Cherry Heering is exported all over the world. These bottles before the war ended up indiscriminately in Tokyo or Moscow, Honolulu or Delagoa Bay, Valparaiso or Shanghai. But today, with the need for dollars, the coveted customer is the hard drinker in a hard currency country. Danish breweries are even bigger dollar earners. The brewing capacity is enormous. Almost as enormous, in fact, as the thirst of lager lovers. That's the difficulty. The bottleneck is literally bottlenecks. At the moment, a mere 1 million bottles of lager are filled every working day. This is not enough to slake the thirst of every lager lover every drinking day. Tuborg and Carlsberg breweries are installing new bottling plants so that beer drinkers in other lands can have the virtuous feeling of helping Denmark along the road to prosperity. The profits from the enormous Carlsberg brewery, by the way, go to the new Carlsberg Foundation for Arts and Sciences. The new Carlsberg Art Museum was a gift from the great brewer Carl Jacobsen and his wife. Most of the works of art for which Copenhagen is famous were presented by Jacobsen during his lifetime or by the foundation after his death. The Biological Institute is only one of many scientific ventures backed by the foundation. The Rockefeller Foundation in 1932 offered 1 million kroner to run a cytological research institute in any country which would pay for the building and equipment. The Carlsberg Foundation paid for both and added a large annual grant of their own for research into cell structure. The main wealth of Denmark is farm produce. This is needed in sterling but not dollar countries. Half of the 4 million people are farmers. Danish hens lay 200 million pounds weight of eggs every year. The processing and marketing of these eggs and other Danish farm produce is done through cooperative societies. The stamp Danish on an egg is a guarantee that it is good. At one time, each egg was stamped with a farmer's name, and if it was bad, he was fined. The Danish earth is only moderately fertile, but very well farmed. The Danish farmer is an individualist. He usually has a small mixed farm which he runs intensively. He may have a hired hand or two, but he and his family do most of the work. He has his dairy herd, and because he has not much land, each cow must be good. The yield and quality of the milk is carefully checked. The cow spends the winter indoors and is fed with oil cake. Butter, like the eggs, is processed through a cooperative. Not the same cooperative, A farmer may be a member of 3 or more different cooperatives, each of which handles one of his products. Butter is a valuable Danish export to Britain, in return for which Danes can buy British cars and textiles. But to produce the butter for Britain means buying oil cake, which Britain can supply, paying dollars which Britain cannot yet provide. The farmer's pigs are fed on the skim milk which he gets back from his butter cooperative. The pigs themselves have no use for cooperation. They're all rugged individualists. And the more successful they are, the sooner they'll be ready for the slaughterhouse. Bacon curing and marketing is the job of another cooperative. By this time, the pig has been converted to cooperation in a passive sort of way. Bacon, butter, and eggs are ready for the world markets, ready to be shipped to countries like Britain, which need more food than they grow. But Denmark must also ship its goods to dollar countries. At the moment, thanks to Marshall Aid dollars and machinery, which will help earn more dollars, Danish industry and agriculture are thriving. Provided that Denmark succeeds in winning and holding her special place in the world market by 1952, the Marshall Plan will have fulfilled its purpose, and the Danes will finally re-establish their traditional prosperity. Helping people to help each other. The Marshall Plan.